So Karthik will be referring the recordings itself he mentioned. I think Shamant he'll join in between, right? Okay, so what is today's session that we are going to cover is, see, we have done with the installation of lab, right? We have installed the lab in our local host, and of course, all the systems are running, fine without any issue. Now, yeah, so we are new to this Kali Linux operating system, right? So, of course, this is the operating system. We are going to use it throughout this course. And of course, as you know, this is like meant for security people, right? Who wanted to get into the, uh, VAPT domain or, pen testing and all. So they'll be using the Kali Linux operating system itself, right? So it's necessary to know how to use this operating system. Like, so here we use something called terminal, and we use bash commands, the basics, So at least you have to know, what is this operating system, how to manage and how to navigate through the terminal, how to manage the files permissions, right? The basic, commands you have to know. Of course, I have given the one resource to you, like the linuxcommands.org. But yeah, so we'll spend a couple of days, and let's understand about more about the Kali Linux operating system, right? So I'll share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's now more GUI. Okay. Previously it's all CLI, command line interface. But now, uh, yeah. So if you see here, right, on the top left side, the Kali symbol. So when you click on this Kali symbol, here you can see the various tools, okay, which are arranged in a category wise. Like you have information gathering tools, vulnerability analysis tool, web application, okay, password cracking, wireless, reverse engineering, exploitation, sniffing, post exploitation, reporting, right? So these all various tools I can say. So altogether in the Linux operating system, I think we have more than 600 tools, right? Almost all the tools are pre-installed in it. So yeah, and then suppose if you'd like to install these tools in your Windows operating system, you need to work on, installing the dependencies. Okay, compatibility issues may arise, and it's not so easy to set up all these tools, right? So that's where we use this operating system, I can say. And any tool, if someone is creating it, they create as per the compatibility for the Linux operating system, right? Especially hacking related tools, right? Yeah. So this is like where you can see all these tools and categories part. And the another logo what we have here, right? It just like displays. If you have a couple of displays, if you're working, you can shift that. And this is the file system, right? In Windows, we have something called what? My computer, correct? So here we have this root home Kali. So when you click on it, okay, like you will be able to see all the things here, right? Kali, desktop, recent, trash, documents, music, picture, and all of this. right? And if you have any external, you know, media devices which are connected, that will show here. Okay. So there we will call it as a folders, all of these things, right? So here we will call it as the directories, right? Yeah. And this is the notepad kind of a thing. So there we have notepad, which is a GUI, right? Graphical user interface. And here also it's a GUI. It's called as a mouse pad. Okay. So here you can save your text and all, right? And of course you will have a browser. So Kali comes with the Mozilla Firefox browser pre-installed in it, right? So yeah, you can use this. And yeah, so this is the browser part, right? And then next what we have over here is the terminal, right? This is the terminal. So which we use to run these tools, right? And it's necessary to learn how to, manage this terminal and all, right? See, so here all we have is like the bash commands, right? So let's start learning, the basics of the bash command. Okay, you will easily understand them. Okay, like if you would have previously used the command prompt, okay, it's very similar to the Linux. Here we have something called terminal, right? This is to interact with the system and to execute your commands and all, right? Okay, so okay, I'll just maximize this. So I'm just typing the first command is who am I, right? I'm typing the first command. What is the first command I'm typing? Who am I? So it prints the current user locked in the operating system. So right, when you install this Kali Linux operating system, it comes with the default credentials, which is Kali and Kali. Of course, I have used the same credentials to log in. And after logging into it, I have given a command called as a who am I. So it's printing me that the current user is Kali. Okay. Even by looking at this also, you can understand, right? This specific part. It'll also indicate that, okay, you are logged in with the Kali, right? See, in Windows, the highest privileged user is um, administrator. Correct. In Windows, the highest privileged user is admin. So in Kali Linux, in Linux operating system, the highest privileged user is root. Okay, who is the highest privileged user? Root. Okay, so um, of course, right? How do we get the root access? Okay, either suppose let's say if you're running some command, let's say if you're using some tool to perform this scan, okay, or maybe let's say if you're running some tool, just typing a Wireshark, right? See, it's not okay. It's running with the. So basically, when you're trying to run some tool which requires the like root level access, or when you wanted to run anything with the proper permissions and all, there we rightly can run as an admin, correct, in Windows operating system. But here we use sudo. It's like sudo, and then you run some uh, tool, right? So it's asking you the password, right? And then you can give the same, the Kali. Now it's running with, okay, privileges. You understand what I'm saying? It's running with the privileges, right? when you add sudo, it will be like running with the root access. Or else you can take the root access directly. Okay. Santosh, are you drawing something? Okay. Either you can directly take the root access. See, you can just type sudo over here and then su, super user, enter. See, it says that now you are root, logged in with the root. Now if I type who am I, it says you are root. Understand? This is the difference, guys, for the normal user and for the root user. And how do we get the root access? You can use either sudo or you can type sudo -su. It will ask you for the password. Then directly it will give you the root shell. Right. Okay. Let's learn some basic commands. Okay, let's learn some basic commands. Santosh, are you drawing something?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So once we log them as root, then how to come to the actual user?
Sorry, once you?
Now we logged in as root user here by using the sudo su command. Now we
Hmm.
become root.
Hmm.
So how to come back to Kali?
Hmm. See, either so okay. So either you can open this new tab, okay, and you'll be back, okay, to here. Okay, this is a way. And let's say now you want to again come back to the root, right?
Oh,
That's what your question, right?
I wanted to come back to Kali, the actual user. Yeah, because Kali is the basic user, right? Root is the highest privileged user.
Okay. Okay,
With
I got it.
people,
I got your question. See, simple. So you can use SEO, okay? And then let's say you wanted to, get into Kali, right? So you're Kali. You're in Kali. This is what you're
yeah,
asking?
yes, so that's what I'm saying.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. Right? So this is how you can, basically, um, right, take the root access, and of course, from the root access, again, you can go back to the normal, normal user or whichever the user account that you wanted to access it, you can use that SU then the user account, right? So first we'll start with learning some of the system information commands. Okay, you can note down, right? System information commands, right? What commands we are going to learn it. So this system information commands will help us to identify the details about the operating system that we are using. Okay, like first example is uname, right? -a. What's the first command that I'm running? Uname -a. So this is displaying the information like what is the architecture of this operating system, what is the kernel of this operating system, right? So it's Linux, and this is a kernel, okay, and this is the architecture. Understand, right? So this is when we have this operating system, right? I mean this is a version of the operating system, that's where I've downloaded and using it, right? Uname -a. What this uname -a is going to do? It will give you the details about the kernel architecture, right? operating system details, right? And then you can type host name. It says Kali. It's like who am I? No, who am I will tell you the current user, okay, to whom with we have logged in. But what is a host name? Okay, that we are using, right? The system name, right? Whatever the system name that we have, it prints that system name. Okay, understand? Clear? And if you would like to see from how long this operating system is up, you can type, okay, you can just use uptime, like 14 minutes, two users, of course, a Kali and root, right? And this sum starts, okay, load average. Or you can also directly type architect. I mean, if you like to see this only architect details, right, you can just type arc, right? Clear? So these
So
are some
what
of the
is uptime?
by and from when we are
Uptime.
using this operating system. See, ఎంతసేపు నుంచి నేను ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నా.
Okay.
Okay, like from how long the system is being running, right? So ఏమైనా రీస్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నా అనుకోండి ఫర్ అన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఒక సర్వర్లో లాగిన్ అయినారు మీరు. You need to now see from how long this operating system is up. You can use this up, right? Uptime. So ఇలాంటి సిచ్యువేషన్స్ వస్తాయి మనకి, right? So this will be useful. Clear? So yeah, I think you are taking the notes, right? Your name, host name, who am I, uptime, architect, okay, arc. So all are basically the commands from the system information commands. Now let's learn about some of the network commands, right? I'll also give you, you know, the same thing in the our Google Classroom, right? So from, of course, you can take your notes, that will be better, right? Okay, so we'll start with the networking commands now. So what is the first thing that we need to learn? How to check the IP address of this machine. Correct, every machine will have an IP address, right? So we have to know how to check this IP address of this machine. So in Linux, you can type ifconfig. It'll give you the IP address of this machine, right? In Windows, you can type ipconfig. There it is ipconfig. Here it is if ifconfig, right? Sometimes if the if config is not there, you can just type IP space A. Okay, it will also give you the same details to you, but the representation will be a bit different, right? So, and here, when I type the ifconfig, what is this E0 and LO is? These are two interfaces. Okay, it's like E0 is like Ethernet 0. Um, so this is a VM, right? Which is running inside the local host. And the internet is, I mean, it's the VM is thinking basically it's connected through a wired connection using Ethernet. So that's the reason we have the interface as E0, and like this is what the IP address we have right now for this particular system, right? And loopback, it's same for everyone. You will learn it in the networking IP classifications. What is this loopback? Okay, it's like static, I can say. Every system will have this loopback IP address. This is something which we use it for testing point of view, right? Yeah. So we use it for testing, and this is what the IP address, right? Similarly, here you have the same details, right? So it says two interfaces are there. One is loopback and one is E0, and loopback IP address and the E0. Clear? Hmm? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next thing is ping. Okay, it's like ping google.com. Okay, I'm giving -4 so that it's gonna probe IPv4. So this is to check the connectivity uh, with the Google. Suppose if, I mean, now if you see the responses, right? So ping, of course, like to see if my machine can able to communicate with the, this specific host. If it is, of course, we have the connectivity, right? So ping, yeah, just to check the connectivity between the host, right, from my system to target. And when I give -4, it's a V4, I mean version 4, IPv4. We have IPv4 and V6, right? So if I am not defining it, it will directly probe V6. Okay, this is how the V6 IP will look like. To cancel this, okay, if you type this command, it will keep on sending the ping request and you will receive the responses. You can just give Control C to stop this process. And then it'll give you the stats for here. Like you send 19 packets and you receive the 19, right? Zero packet loss and all this, information. Correct? Right? This is the ping. And then we can use another network utility, I can say, which is netstat. Okay? Which is netstat. So what is this netstat is, uh, see, this is, I mean, okay, let me explain with small diagram. See, this is my system. It will have, of course, an IP address, right? And there is another system, okay? Of course, this will also have an IP address. So, IP address is the endpoint communication for the systems, right? But inside every system, we have 0 to 65,535 port numbers. Of course, we don't use all this, right? Suppose, let's say, if you would like to communicate with any one of the services which are running inside the system, it could be like FTP, SSH, Telnet, or HTTP, or whatever it is, any protocol. It will be running on a specific port. So what I'm saying is, IP address is the endpoint communication for the system, and port numbers are like endpoint communication for the services which are running in the system. Of course, when two systems wanted to talk, they need IP address. Of course, they need port number, right? Source port number. Of course, here it is destination port number, right? So the communication will start. Okay. So if I am running this net start command in my system, it will tell how many ports are like connected with different systems in the internet, how many are in the listening stage. Okay, so it'll give you the network statistics details for us. Okay, it'll give you like how many ports are connected to where. Okay, it'll give you the source and destination details to you. Okay, let's start. You can use a command called as a hyphen TCP UDP. Okay, and LN, like listening ports, and N is basically to show the details. So right now there is no, uh, I can say there is nothing no connections or no TCP UDP ports which are in the listening state, right? But maybe if you give something like ANTP, if you like to see, right? See, my system, okay, in a browser. See, I have browser open, right? My system in a browser, it is talking to this specific IP address on the port number 443, which is HTTPS, right? So NetStat is something which helps you to see the network statistics details in your system, like which port is connected where, right? Like this. Okay, whether the connection is established or whether the connection, like whether the port is in listening stage, all these details you can see, right? So that's what the NetStat is. I think like when we start using it in the real time, you will understand it. But yeah, okay, clear. So we also have
Sir,
SS. Yeah,
what is this PULN and ANTP?
yeah. See, TCP, UDP, listening network ports. Okay, understand.
Yeah, sir.
So see, I'll tell you. You can always use -H. Okay, like every tool will have this option called -H, right? So what I've used here, A and TP, right? See here, CL is listening, right? A is all, you understand? A is all, and then N is numeric. Okay, I'm saying don't resolve the names, right? And then what we have a port, correct? P. So always you can use this -H or -help to understand or to use it in the way that you want it to, right? Help or manual like man netstat also will help you. It's like it will give you the manual report of this tool. Okay, so where to use what, right? It's like your friend, I can say. See, because at the end no one is going to remember all of this, right? Depending on the situation, you can use this help option and look into the options, and then you write this tool and use it. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And then you have something called trace route. Trace route. Let's say I'm giving trace route to Google. Okay. So what is this trace route is? Uh, see, I'm sitting in my home and Google is somewhere, right? Google server is somewhere. And my packet is, traveling from my system to Google by crossing so many hubs. When I say hubs, it could be switches and routers, right? Or any middle systems. So this trace route will give you the details about the hubs in between the source and destination. Okay, so maximum it can give you here 15 hubs. Okay, and all of these are, you can see they are IPv6, right? And wherever you see this star symbol, which means it is protected. Okay, clear? What this trace route is doing? Trace route is helping us to see the hubs between the client and server, right? So you're sitting here with your laptop or desktop, and of course, Google server is somewhere, right? And first, my packet will go to my home router, then it'll go to some other router, switches, then finally it reaches, right? So always it's giving this hub's details for us. Okay, the trace route is basically helping us to identify the hub's details. Here is all the hub's details what we have. Okay, yeah. Okay, so mm, what else we have? Okay, and then next what we have is NS lookup. Uh, this is for performing the name server lookup. Like if you give Google, right, it will give you the associated IP with it, right? I mean, every server will have an IP address, right? But we as a humans, we don't remember the IP address. I mean, we remember with the domain names, right? So, I mean, all these details, right? All the details of mapping the IP address and the domain name will save into the DNS. There is something called DNS server. You will learn that in the protocols in the networking topic. So, NS lookup is basically resolving that name server. If you give a domain name, it is giving you the IP address which is associated with it from the DNS. It's like a phone book kind of a thing, right? We as a humans, we don't really remember the numbers. All the numbers, whatever we have it in our contacts, right? We save them with name. Similarly, in the internet also, we have a lot of servers and every server will have an IP address and we don't really what remember those IP addresses as a humans. What we do, we rely on the DNS server which translate our domain name to IP address and which maps it. Okay. So from the DNS, we are performing this NS lookup to identify the what is the IP address of the Google. IPv6 and IPv4 we got it. Or if you ping also you are getting the same thing if you look into it, right? Ping for IPv4 you can see you will get the response, right? Now you're getting the response from the different server, but here the IP address is different. Okay, this is name server. See, of course, again, the architecture of the Google and how they are routing the traffic. Okay, they might have a different servers. Okay, because it's not a small company, right? It may change also, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, these are some of the basic networking commands I can say we'll be using it, right? And now comes the important part, which is the file and directory commands, right? Okay. So if I wanted to see what all the files are present, okay, first of all, let's start with PWD. Okay. It's like printing the current working directory. Here also it shows the same thing, right? I mean, when you look into this, right, Linux commands.org. So let's click on what to do. Mm, yeah. So this is how the file system will look like in the Linux operating system. You have slash, right? This is what we called as a root. Okay, inside the root, you have bin, boot, dev, etc. Okay, all these different directories which are used for again different purpose. So bin is for saving the binary files. Boot, of course, it will have a boot files. etc. It will have some tools and all, right? Home is like a my computer over here, right? Inside the home, we have a user over here, which is Kali, right? It's like, suppose if I type pwd, it says that, root, home, then you have a Kali. Okay, that's what, like, we are here. Okay, understand? This is like tree kind of tree, like a pattern of directories. Okay, so here the first directory in the system is called as a root. It contains the files and subdirectories, right? So it will be like this. Okay, so okay, when you type pwd, it's of course printing you the present working directory to you. Here also it's showing the same details to you. Okay, you are inside the home Kali. And if you'd like to see what are the different files present over here, you can give ls list. Okay, list of all the directories and also the content, right? So here you have all directories, and also you have the other content like images and the text file also here, right? If you like to see the directories and the content inside a specific location, you can use ls. Okay. And if you would like to see um, like the properties of these files, like the permissions and who is the owner, when they have created, what is the size of it, you can use ls hyphen l. Okay, you can use ls hyphen l, right? The same thing, but here it is showing with the more details. What more details? So in Linux, basically we have these permissions. Okay, we'll talk about in the permission sections, and we'll play around these permissions. Okay. Um, but yeah, so basically in Linux we have three different types of permissions. Okay, for the I mean this is the first one. It says it's a directory. If it is like hyphen or minus symbol, which means it is not directory, it's some file. Okay. So here we have permissions for three different users. One is for root user, one is for group user, and one is for other users. So now all these three permissions will be like read, write executable, and read, write executable. So suppose if I look into the first permissions, right? It's like for root user, we have read, write executable, but for other users and the group users, we only have the read and executable permissions. We don't have write permissions. So it's like that. Okay. And yeah, so who has created this file and who is the owner of this file? And then you have uh, size of this directory and the timestamp details, when it is modified or created last time. Clear? Right? And there are some hidden files also. If you would like to see that, you can type a hyphen la. It will give you the hidden files to you. You can see now you have more result. See, hidden files in the Linux operating system will always starts with dot. Even if you create some file by giving a dot, okay, initially, that will be in the hidden state. Okay, if you like to see the hidden files, you need to use hyphen ls hyphen a, basically, right? And if you like to see all these details and all, l. I have used both of them in the combination, la. So it has given me all the list of files, including the hidden files, of course, with all the properties and permissions. Clear? Yeah. Okay. So ls, it's giving me all the directories. I wanted to get into one directory. Let's say I wanted to get into the desktop. Okay, you can type cd, change the directory to desktop. So it's a case sensitive. The first letter in the desktop is capital D. Of course, I have written the same thing. See, or else you can use tab. Tab symbol is there, right? You can double tap. Let's say I'm writing D and double tap. It'll give the first preference. Okay, I want to get in desktop, so I'll just click on desktop. Okay. Now if I click on enter, see, I'm in desktop now, right? Again, I have typed pwd, or here also you can see that I am into the desktop. cd is something which is helping me to change the directory. Understand? So inside the desktop, if I wanted to see something ls, you have some files over here. Okay. So let's say inside the desktop, of course, when I say desktop, this is a desktop. Okay, all these files which are present over here, I can see them. Okay. I want to create a directory over here inside the desktop. Okay, make directory test. See, we have a test directory created. And there is a lock symbol if you observe this. Anyone tell why there is a lock symbol over here?
because of administrator user.
We logged in into the system using the Kali. Of course, the host is Kali, but the file is created by root, right? So because of that, we have this lock symbol. I mean, there is no proper permissions. That's what I can say. Suppose if I give ls hyphen l and then the only this directory permissions if I wanted to see. Uh, sorry. Okay, so here you can see only root user has the read and executable permission. Other users can only read and execute. Okay, they cannot write anything. Right? Suppose, I mean, if I'm giving the permissions and all, that is a different case again. But I'm just telling you about the lock symbol. I think we'll discuss that in the permissions part. Okay, it's there. Uh, right. Next, okay, we'll be covering it. Okay. So make directory is something which is for creating a directory. And if you'd like to remove it, or let's say let's get into that directory. Okay, and now inside this directory, I wanted to create a text file. Okay, how can I create it? Either you can use the same mouse pad. Okay, mouse pad, it's a text editor. And then you can give a file name. Okay, notes, enter. And then here you can add your data, right? My first text file and save it, Control S, right? Done. So if you give ls, there is a notes. Okay, and if you wanted to maybe check what is the content inside this file, you can type cat notes. It'll give you the content inside it. I mean, without editing it, without opening with some kind of a editor. If you would like to, if you wanted to see what is the content of that specific file, you can type cat. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Understand? Yeah. And if you would like to copy this, right? Copies like CP, and then the source file that you wanted to copy, and the location where you wanted to copy. Let's say I wanted to copy this in, like, you define it, home, Kali. Let's say I want to copy this in a desktop. See, there is a file inside a text directory, and there is also a file here in the desktop, right? Yeah. And if I want to delete it, see ls notes, right? I want to delete it. Remove notes. Done. It got deleted. Okay. I want to go one directory back. cd space dot dot. See, you are from the test directory to you went to the desktop, right? Now I want to delete this directory itself. So when you type remove and the directory name, you cannot delete it, right? So it says cannot remove test. It's a directory. Of course, is a directory. So you need to delete it forcefully because when you try to delete some directories and if there is any if there is any content which is inside it, and if you try to delete it with the RM, it will not work. You need to remove it forcefully, okay, and then you give the directory name. Oh, sorry, hyphen R. Okay, FR you can give or RF you can give. Okay, it works. It's like recursively or forcefully deleting the thing. It's gone. Right? Understood. And when you wanted to move it without copying it, okay, see, I'm in desktop. Of course, there is a file. There are a lot of files here. Okay, here there is a file called clickjacking.html file. I want to move this. Okay, so you can use move clickjacking to, let's say I want to move it to root home, Kali downloads. Okay, let me move this to downloads. Right, you can see there was a file here, clickjacking. Now it's not there. Now, okay, if I want to see that, I have to go one directory back. Then if I give ls, there is something called downloads. Now I'll go cd downloads and ls, there is a file, clickjacking. So move here can be used for two purposes. One is for moving the file from the source to destination. You can give either full path or you can define like where you want it to move it. Second, you can also rename the file name. For example, move. This is a file name that I wanted to rename to, let's say, something else. Okay. Uh, let's say click.html. So I'm renaming a file from the clickjacking.html to click.html. See, it's renamed. You understand, move here can be used for two purposes. Once, I mean, you can move this file by defining move and the source file and the location where you wanted to move it. Let's say I'm moving it to desktop. You can give the path. Okay, it's there. Or you can also rename it, right? Clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is okay, and let me also give you some other commands to you, right? So last time we have used cat. Okay, if you remember, like cat. Okay, let me go to the cd home Kali. Let's say desktop. Okay, there are some files in the desktop, right? Let's say there's something called sam hash.txt. I want to see this file, right? I can just type cat sam hash.txt. What the cat is doing, it's displaying all the content inside the file. Similarly, when you wanted to view the files, you have different tools like you have more. Okay, Sam, hi, I mean, it is telling you the content in it. You have less, it will give you only 5 lines of this file. Of course, it's a small file. Okay, you can see, right? And you can also use head. It will only give you the header of that file, right? these are tools which are useful when you're maybe playing with a huge amount of files, which has content in it. Okay. Yeah. So all of these commands are clear.
Yeah.
Hmm? Clear, right? Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
till now, whatever we have covered, hope you are, I hope you are taking the notes and all right. So I'll write down. Okay, we have covered about the system information commands, and then we have covered about the networking, right? Commands, and then we have right now just discuss about the files and directories commands, right? So all these commands, of course, from the different topics we have covered. We have the other some of the commands also that we need to learn it. So we will discuss about those commands like user management or of course how to start the what we call packet management, process management. The important thing is like permissions, right? So we will be covering tomorrow, right? So yeah, in tomorrow's session, what we are going to cover? We are going to cover about the user management, like how to create the users, how to change the passwords, okay? All these things, we are going to discuss. And packet management, like how to install the new packages or how to update the packages and all. And then the process management, then the permissions, okay, which is important. Permissions is important. Of course, all these things, what I'm covering, it's here, right? See, we have used PWD, we have used LS, we have used CD, right? So we get into some directory, then we type this, right? CD dot dot. So all the things are here in this specific block, right? If you follow it, I think you will learn all the basics of Bash commands, right? I'm just giving you this in the chat. Okay, so this is what I have planned for the today's guys. Any questions? Hmm?
So could you please explain command move again?
Which commands?
Move.
More.
No, no,
Huh?
move only.
చెప్పండి తెలుగులో చెప్పండి పర్లేదు.
ఫైల్స్ అండ్ డైరెక్ట్లీ కమాండ్స్ చేస్తారు కాపీ తర్వాత చెప్పారు కదా మూవ్ అని చెప్పి ఒకటి
Move. MV, right?
ఎస్ దట్స్ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ సేయింగ్ ఎంబీ
Okay, I'll explain it, right? See, I'm in desktop right now, correct? See, PWD desktop, right? నాకు desktop లో I can do two things, okay, with the move. One, I can change the file name. Suppose ఇప్పుడు హ్యాకర్ ఇక్కడ ఇమేజ్ అని ఉంది. ఒక ఇమేజ్ ఉంది .jpg. దాని నేమ్ ఏంటి? హ్యాకర్ ఇమేజ్, రైట్? ఇప్పుడు నేను దీన్ని రీనేమ్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాను అనుకో, యూ కెన్ యూస్ మూవ్ హ్యాకర్ ఇమేజ్
సార్ ఆర్ యు దేర్
Sorry, I'm disconnected. Okay, so the first scenario you understood, right? Hmm?
Yes,
First
sir.
scenario, first scenario is like renaming, right? So I have renamed a image name from this hacker image to new image. Okay. Second is you can move it. Like I want to move this new image. Okay, right now where I am? I am in home Kali desktop. Let's say I want to move this to, let's say, home Kali downloads. Okay. It is moved now. If I give ls, you will not find that, right? It will be in downloads. Understand?
Yes,
Ah,
right.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. So you play around all of these commands and explore it, right? Make yourself comfortable of using this terminal and all the commands that we have discussed, right? Tomorrow, the remaining whatever it's there, the commands will complete it. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
okay.
yeah. Bye, guys.
How can I
Bye.
connect with you personally, Sai?
Uh, you can take, I mean, you have this Sarita's number, right? So she can help you to connect with me.
Thank you so much for that.